Hey there, welcome to the Gyro Step, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and GSPN, the Gyro Step Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, Ty Windisch. I'm joined as always by the very exceedingly punctual for not a morning person. Was in here at the crack of 8 a.m. Rohan Katti. Rohan, my good man.
Don't say the time. That's gonna make me sound like,
No, what?
oh man.
I think a lot of people. I think most of the people are with you in not being morning people by choice. You follow along at the crack of 5 a.m. when we recorded this. Rohan Katti.
Thank you.
How's it going, Rohan?
Doing well. It was a busy weekend, so that's my excuse.
I don't. As a morning person, as a self-confessed sicko, I don't think you should feel bad about not wanting to be not just up, but ready to podcast. Like, there's a difference between just being awake and ready to hop on the mic and talk to me, who's been up guzzling coffee for an hour and a half, about Milwaukee Bucks preseason, which is exactly what we're going to do. We're going to cover the biggest Bucks storylines from preseason so far. We're going to rapid fire get into it. You know we have other podcasts. If you don't, you can find out the info and the links at gspn.info. But we're diving in head first. Biggest storylines. Rohan, I present you the floor to start with your biggest storyline from the first 3 L's and games of the Bucks preseason so far.
Ooh, okay. Let's see. If I'm going first, I should go with let's start with defense. Let's start with defense.
There we go.
Yeah. Was this on your list?
I honestly, I was more focused on players, so I did not include this on my list. But this is good. Let's talk about it.
So there's been a point made, and also Eric Name at The Athletic wrote about this, about how the Bucks have sort of shifted their defensive scheme through these first games of preseason. And obviously, this isn't the regular season. It's not confirmed that this is going to be how the Bucks play their base scheme throughout the entirety of the season going forward. It might just be something they're trying out. It might just be something they're tweaking. But we have seen a concerted effort in just base pick and roll defense to not help, not abandon 3-point shooters, just to play 2-on-2 pick and rolls. And even though that is something that the Bucks have really tried their best to do throughout the entirety of Bud's tenure in Milwaukee, playing 2-on-2 pick and rolls, you always have like someone helping off, like a corner, and we're just like, we get so frustrated. Like, why is Pat sort of fading away from the corner to help on a Drew Brook Lopez pick and roll defense? Like, why trust your guys? You can accept death by floater. And that's something we've also seen throughout these first couple preseason games, is if you want to nitpick at this defensive scheme, you can say, oh, well, if you just play against someone who has an elite floater, it's kind of, you can get exposed very easily. And the Bucks just played 2 games against Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks, who is someone who is a master at the floater game, and you saw it get picked apart. You saw Trae Young have great success in that sort of mid-range area against the Bucks pick and roll defense. So that's something I'm really watching. What about, how do you feel about it, Ty?
I love it. I think it's something that we've been begging for, especially in the playoffs, for a long time. And PJ Tucker did too, right? That was his whole thing during the Nets series, was don't help so much. When you have almost entirely at least plus defensive personnel and a lot of elite defensive personnel between Giannis Antetokounmpo, Drew Holiday, Brook Lopez, Wesley Matthews, Javon Carter. You go down the list. There's a lot of elite or close to elite defenders on the Milwaukee Bucks. They're doing great work at containing plays. And then there's just an open three that's right there because of the scheme. You know, I think helping too much a lot of the time. And of course, there needs to be adjustments. I think it's pretty bad luck for the Bucks that when they're trying this, 2 of their 5 preseason games are against Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks. Trae, in addition to, he scorched them with threes in the second of their 2 games in Abu Dhabi, an elite floater player and an elite lob thrower with elite lob threats in Clint Capella and Onyeka Okongwu. By the way, totally random. We're not going to discuss this. Onyeka Okongwu being like with the young guys, like playing garbage time minutes role is crazy.
It's
He is way too
ridiculous.
good.
It's-
Dude, I thought he was going to get a triple-double in the end of that game because he was just dominating. He's way too good for that. Bucks, trade for Onyeka Okongwu. I don't care if he can't shoot. That guy is good, man. Anyway, Hawks have a lot of DeAndre Hunter, too. They were really impressive in those games. But anyway, enough about the Hawks. I love the defensive scheme. There's going to be warts. We've talked about this when they started to switch more, especially last year without Brook and in the year before the championship, when they were really diversifying their base defense a little bit and not just dropping. We covered it, right? Like, there's going to be warts. There's going to be games where they look worse because of this, but the ultimate goal is to be better equipped in the playoffs. And that's how I look at this change as well. And I think this is the way. I think this is how they get to be even better defensively. I don't think there's anything else they could do to better refine their drop. And I think refining the drop is a great idea, if you ask me, or just like the way they handle pick and rolls. Just trust the guys. Trust Drew and Giannis and Brook and Wes and Javon and George Hill if he's out there, Chris Middleton if he's out there, to make a play. Disrupt that shot from behind if the ball handler gets in front of you and gets to floater range. Trust Brook to cover it up, cover everything up, even when it looks like he shouldn't be able to. I'm all for it. I'm all for not bailing out. We talked about this a lot on Binge the Bucks, right? They bailed out the Raptors by giving up those open shots over and over and over and over. Getting away from that.
Remind me.
I know, but I can live with guys getting beat. That's basketball. You get beat, you lose, that's fine. I would much rather have a team have to beat Drew and Giannis and Brook, etc., than just be able to find open shots because of the scheme. So I love this tweak. I anticipate some growing pains, especially against teams like Atlanta. But I think in the long run, this is going to be a great change that will really help the Bucks in especially playoff settings.
But do you think that it should be more matchup specific?
Probably, but I also think in the regular season, you probably just want as much practice as you can. What did friend of the show, Jim Ozarski, tell us? They practice like 12 times a year.
Yeah.
Like, there's just only so many chances to get these reps. So I think in the playoffs, we would see it changed up if it really wasn't working. But I'm fine with it being the general in the regular season. I mean, really, how many teams are you that worried about for floaters and lobs? There's not that many. Hawks are one. The Cavs, I suppose.
The Knicks?
I'll live with the Knicks. I'm okay. I'm not going to lose sleep over Jalen Brunson and RJ Barrett or whatever the hell they're doing. I guess the Warriors, I mean, Steph is great at it. He doesn't do it that much, though.
Steph's just an elite finisher in general.
Yeah, I mean, some guys that are going to eat no matter. I mean, again, Trey was cooking them with threes, which has nothing to do with this tweak in the second game. Like, some guys are just going to cook if they're elite players.
Yeah, it's probably not as big of a deal.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think anything you play is going to get you cooked some nights. I think the Bucks are not a team who over-adjusts in the regular season. It's going to frustrate us some nights, but I do see the bigger picture here, and I'm okay with that if by playoffs they're very comfortable. I mean, guys have talked about it is kind of a tough adjustment to not help after they've been doing it the same way for so long. So I think you, as the Bucks like to say, you build the good habits and everything and get used to playing a certain way.
Get better every day.
Get better every day.
Just trying to get better every day.
And I do think in a general sense, it's better to be able to toggle to helping if you need to, but the base should be not to help. I've always said, make guys prove they can beat you before you change what you're doing. And I think this is a better base, and I think they need to get used to playing this way.
Yeah, that's fair. I completely agree with you, by the way. I think this should be the base. This is what they should be rolling with as their base defensive scheme. But no, it's going to be something to watch going forward. The rest of the preseason, start of the regular season. The Bucks also have a back-to-back this week in preseason. A road home back-to-back, which is ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, is it Milwaukee, Chicago?
Yeah, but still.
We're going to get one more real preseason game is what this means. Like, the last one is going to be, like, Lindell, AJ Green.
No, hopefully, like, is it only those two left?
What do you mean? Yeah.
Oh, I hope they don't play in Chicago because I might go Wednesday.
No, I'm sure it'd be home crowd. I would imagine.
Okay. But moving on. What's one thing from your list?
My number one, and I pulled data for this,
Oh,
is Javon Carter as PG2. So this has been the biggest thing I've tracked. I did not go into preseason expecting this. I was looking at, Mamu and some other stuff, but like Javon Carter has played more than George Hill in all 3 games so far. I want to include the caveat. This is preseason. Things could change. And there has been, like, Brook isn't playing much. Like, the older guys are being limited in minutes. Javon has also entered the game first, and I believe all 3 of the games, and played more with the real rotation players. That may matter more, quite honestly. It probably does matter more. Because I think that part of it, that has been consistent with what we would expect the rotation to look like. Starters start, like, we haven't seen, like, MarJon thrown into a start, right? It's been like, okay, Grayson, West hasn't really been healthy, but Grayson will start, Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, the guys you would expect to like really step in if the real Bucks, quote unquote, were without starters for a game. And then off of the bench, it's like Bobby if he's not starting, Pat and Javon have been like the first reserves. So I went and looked because a lot of people are saying, hey, it's just preseason, which again, the minutes, I think I would agree, but the spot in rotation, I do think matters. And I think we've seen the Bucks play it like a very cautious, real rotation. But people said, oh, Javon played more last year, and then by the playoffs, it was over. And, you can't trust it. You can't trust it won't change. So I pulled it up. I pulled up every game they played together to see who played more. So Javon, first 8 games, I believe, George Hill was out. And I think the context for this matters a lot because George comes back for the Bucks' 69th game of the regular season. Yeah, I think it was actually the Brook Lopez game too. Just also quieter.
It was Utah, right?
Yeah, in Utah.
Yeah.
And Javon plays more than him that night. But the context of like George is coming back from like very serious back and neck injuries and like playing like just,
not even coming back from. He's just
he's dealing with. And this is the end of the regular season, and the Bucks were not that concerned about seeding, as evidenced by them not playing anybody in the last game of the regular season. So this is only counting games where they both played. If one of them sat, I didn't count it. Even with George battling through those injuries and Javon like filling up minutes, in the 11 games they played together, George played more minutes 7 of the 11 in the regular season. And in the playoffs, all 5 of the games George Hill's played, he played more minutes. So last season, regular season and playoffs, it was 12-4 in favor of Hill for minutes changes. And I didn't do this because I didn't want to skew the data. I would bet if I looked at some of these where Javon played more, it was a game the Bucks like either punted semi-way through or there was like a big lead. Like I didn't filter out garbage time. So that could be factored into the 4. And then again, this preseason, it's been 3-0 in favor of Javon. I think there's a real shift. And I think just from watching how he's played, I think there should be a real shift, right? Like Javon is on the honest timeline. He looks like he has more point guard skills than he's been given credit for. We know what the defense is like. He told him, and I don't know if we listened enough to him, but I've loved the handle, his shot making off the dribble, and the fact that he does it, but he picks his spots so carefully. Like I don't think he's ever going to be a guy where we're going, oh my God, I can't. Javon just took his 8th bad shot of the game. He takes like 1 or 2 of them per game. And it's always like, it's like a palate cleanser, right? It's like a nice, it's like sorbet. It's like, oh, that was nice. That was a nice change of pace for this Bucks offense. I'm all on board. Javon Carter, point guard 2, playoff rotation. I think it's coming. I don't think George is as down and out maybe as it seemed, but also he's been like the 9th or 10th guy playing in a lot of these preseason games. And I don't think that's just because of age. Like I think he could play earlier if he was slotted in the rotation earlier and just not play as much. I truly believe that we're seeing the shift toward Javon Carter, which is very exciting, even if a lot of people don't want to trust it because we've been hurt before.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad. Like those are good numbers you pulled. Really illustrating the point we're trying to make here. But even if you want to go further than that, just the role that they're playing. Even in games we saw last season when Javon Carter was playing more than George Hill, we did not see Javon Carter essentially be PG2. We did not see him in an offensive initiator role. We did not see him with the ball in his hands a lot. He was asked to be sort of, this is really, I'm not making a comparison. It was Matthew Dellavedova-esque in that role, like be a 3-and-D guy who can be a shooter, right? That's all he was asked to do. But this season, in this preseason so far, again, preseason, he's being asked to handle the ball. He's being asked to like set up offense. He's being asked to create plays. He's coming off screens in transition and hitting threes, Ty. Like, this is not something we've seen from Javon Carter in the past on this Milwaukee Bucks team. It's a new role for him, and you can tell he's put in the work, he's put in the effort, and the Bucks coaching staff is trusting him and allowing him to showcase his skills, and it's going really, really well. Again, this is preseason. This is something that's going to have to be monitored as the regular season starts and continues. But it's very, very positive results so far. And you also can see George Hill excelling in the role that he has now. Like, if he's not being asked to be, don't be an offensive creator, be a guy who can just finish plays, be a guy who can play smart defense, be a guy who can be a shooter. Like, there was one point he had a cut down the lane, there was a foul called, but he just threw it down. Like, George Hill, what's happening here? Like, this is the best of both worlds, because we get to see Javon Carter showcase, and we don't have to see the warts that we've seen from George Hill in this role in the past. But we also get to see George Hill utilized in a role that's more suited to his game nowadays. And both can help this Milwaukee Bucks team.
Just some more Javon stats from the preseason. The shooting just won't go away. Despite being 1 for 5 in his first game in preseason, he's 6 for 9 from 3 in preseason so far. Yeah, he's shooting 66% in this preseason. Also, I think probably more instructive, 11-2 assist to turnover ratio in preseason.
He doesn't turn the ball over.
No.
He's very calculated in what he does.
It's usually his handle going wrong. Like, at least one of those two was he was like really trying to size somebody up, and he got it poked away, and it was a turnover. So his actual passing, I think, is really nice and crisp. He's able to get through the first layer of defense, like, kind of shockingly easy. Like, he just gets in there. And that's one where more minutes with Giannis, like, that can really open up some fun and easy buckets. Also 25 points, so about 8 points average in the 3 games. Boosted a lot by his 17.5 for 6 from 3 effort in the first Abu Dhabi game. But he scored 2 in the first preseason game and I think 6 in the last one. Just like everything's been really impressive. I think his defense actually hasn't been as good as we're used to seeing. But that's something where if he's going to take – we've seen this with Chris, way different players. But if he's going to take on more offensive load and let that defense slip and then just be able to maybe tap into it in certain moments, that's fine. Like, that trade-off is okay. That'll keep him on the floor much more, being able to provide that true second point guard offense. I mean, this was a thing we looked at as maybe the biggest hole on the team. Javon's looking like he's going to be able to plug a lot of that hole.
Yeah, it's something that I was clamoring for in the offseason, just a guy who can handle the ball and do good things with it, right?
Yeah.
Like, he was right there the entire time. This is Javon Carter. He's here and he's perfect, baby.
The call is coming from inside the rotation. Okay, what's up next for you now? I think I'm worried we're getting people almost too hyped, but I just think, like, we've not seen bad stuff from Javon. Like, it's just all been good.
Also,
he looks like he's getting better. Yeah.
We're also telling people temper your expectations.
I'm telling people that, but I'm not able to do that myself. Is the problem.
Oh, Ty, same, but we shouldn't say that out loud. Here's another thing. This is something we talked about last week, if we're going to my list now. It's Grayson Allen finding his role within the offense.
That was my next one. I just put Grayson Fireball.
Yes. I told you guys to believe. No one listened to me, Ty. No one listened. Year 2, Grayson. Year 2 in the Milwaukee Bucks system. Obviously, he's not a second-year player. But one more year feeling more comfortable. One more year where he can learn and get the trust of his teammates. One more year where he knows where to be. And you can get solid results. And we're starting to see that so far, Ty. We're seeing him get more shots up. We're seeing him be more decisive with the ball in his hands, making quicker decisions, making faster decisions. We're seeing him play a role in this team where if he can be as fast twitch as he is right now in the regular season and playoffs, there's no reason that he should not be playing when the games matter most.
Yeah, 41% on threes so far. I've thought in particular his 3-point shot. I don't know if his shot is actually different. I don't know what it is. I've just never felt more confident in him.
It feels more automatic.
Shooting threes. Yeah, like some of it maybe the rest of the Bucks have really struggled outside of Javon Carter to make those shots in the preseason. But when he's letting one go, it's just like, oh yeah, you feel great about that. Like I do think he's playing with a confidence. And the thing to monitor will be when Chris gets back, when he's out there with those guys, does he look as good? I think maybe you can work on some of that just like with how you work the rotations and maybe almost staggering those guys a little bit to ensure that you have your super reliable 3-point wing shooting threat out there at all times. But I've thought the threes just look so comfortable, so reliable. I mean, he's 1 for 3 twice, but overall, I think he's 5 for 12 in the preseason. And the drives to the rim look great. I feel like the Bucks as a team have just or as a coaching staff, I should say, have done a great job working on this with players, sans Jrue Holiday. I mean, they tried with Jrue. It's still a work in progress. But like we talked about it, especially earlier last year, Pat has looked really comfortable driving lately, and just like there's not much that Pat does at this point. Where it doesn't.
Did Grayson Allen go to the Pat Connaughton School of Finishing?
That's what it feels like. It like just really using his length and burst that we don't. He's one of those players where he's like more athletic than it looks. Just the stuff he does, it doesn't always showcase.
Why is that, Ty?
No, seriously though. Because most of his game is catch and shoot threes. You just don't notice that burst that much.
I'm kidding.
I know.
Just no. To be clear to everyone listening.
Yeah. No, I know. But see, like he just like wasn't using it. And on these layups, you're kind of seeing like he like uses that burst. He's got long arms. Like he's really the scoop layups.
He's made more of a concerted effort to extend on layups. Like use his body as a shield for layup attempts, which is something we didn't see earlier, and it's really quite effective. You see Pat leveraging that.
Yep.
Obviously, like guys like Giannis is the best in the world at that, using his body to do that. So, but if you get guys like Grayson sort of leveraging their angles and doing that, maybe he learned from maybe the school of finishing is Giannis.
I know we've talked about this before. No one can learn from Giannis, though.
No. But in the sense of like, because it's not just Giannis using like his athleticism.
That's true. He does leverage the angles.
Exactly. Giannis is the best rim finisher in the league. And I'm not talking about just dunks and stuff. I'm talking about his ability to put the ball like near the rim.
Was it the Hornets game winner that was the most impressive we've ever seen? Yeah.
He put the ball at the bottom of the backboard tie to put it in, and it looked zero effort whatsoever.
Is Giannis a physicist?
He might be.
Or would that be geometry? Maybe both.
It's all math.
Yeah. Giannis is a mathematician is what we've learned.
Just another thing me and Giannis have in common.
Exactly. Both have been cited around Marquette from time to time.
Yeah.
Are you going to claim Giannis as a Marquette guy?
I mean,
he's been there.
That's where I saw him. That was my first ever tweet. First of all, I'm going to take a victory lap. That is the greatest first tweet ever.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, how can you top that?
I'm not going to try. That's for sure.
6 years on that stupid ass.
Grayson Allen, though, I don't have that much more, but I've just been impressed. Want to see it maintain and just. Even if it's slightly less shots per game, I just want to see him maintain the aggressiveness because it's been great. Really impressed with Grayson Allen. Let's talk about Giannis quickly. This is not one of my big takeaways, but a quick takeaway. 70% from the line in the one game he played. Tracks with the Eurobasket stuff. He looks like Giannis. It's just nice to see.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised we saw him at all, but I guess he kind of had to.
It seemed like he kind of had to play at least one of them, and he played a decent amount of minutes in the one game.
21 minutes.
Yeah,
21 minutes. 6-16 from the field, whatever. 7-10 from the free throw line, sure.
Yeah, it wasn't a great Giannis game, honestly.
It was fine. He did what he had to, and it seemed like he was just there because he had to.
It felt like he was like, all right, I'll take a bunch of shots for these people, and
he wants to hang out with Ranveer Singh, apparently.
Yeah.
You have no idea who that is.
No, I don't. Who is that?
He's like the biggest Bollywood actor.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
He's like one of the biggest actors in the world. Just people don't realize it because
Would you say he's a better or worse actor than Steve Harvey, who was also in attendance?
way better, leaps and bounds better. Let's see. How many followers does Ranveer Singh have on Instagram? It's ridiculous. You're not going to believe this when I tell you.
No, I will, because I've looked up soccer players before, and I know the numbers.
41.6
Yeah,
million.
I know. Yeah, that's look up Messi.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
I know. That's the soccer player stuff is like always makes everything out like what they make, their followers. It's always crazy.
Wait, is Messi even on Instagram?
Oh, is he not? Ronaldo then.
Yo, Ronaldo's the most, right?
I think he's up there. Well, I mean, but then like someone like Kylie Jenner has more. It's
No,
it's
like
all
most,
crazy.
like a biggest athlete.
Yeah, I think he is.
Because he has $487 million.
That's
but like the point I'm trying to make is
no, yeah, he's super famous, great actor.
Yeah. What were you saying though?
We'll have to do a make time for this on some of his movies. I don't remember what I was saying. Just about Giannis, not too much.
Yeah, I want to see you guys watching Bollywood movies. That'll be.
I've watched
funny.
one.
What did you
I've
watch?
heard of one. I couldn't name it, Rohan. It was like it was like a festival of colors scene, and there was like colors all up in the air. It was pretty cool. I could not name the movie. This was a long time ago.
If anyone ever gets the chance to celebrate Holi, HOLI, that's the festival of colors. And
it seems super cool.
It's so fun.
I'm glad we got some Indian culture in on the year. We don't do this enough. Anyway, yeah, but Giannis, I just like the free throws. Not much to take. I'll share this now. My list of guys, I just have nothing to share. Drew Holiday, Pat Connaughton, Thanasis, and Luka Vildoza. I just it's like, okay, fine.
Yeah.
They are who we thought they were. Can I do one more kind of quick, big takeaway before I hand it back? Because the Giannis one was fast. I think the offense is changing a little bit too. I feel like, and this may just be a preseason thing, they've barely had Giannis, etc. There's been a ton of ball screens, and this is something that I think we both really like to see.
They're running double drag time.
Yeah, they're doing double drag. There's been a Spain pick and roll or two, both with like Brooke and Serge, who is playing a lot as like typical rollers, but also other actions.
If you're running a double drag or Spain, whatever you want to call it, with Brooke and Serge, it's so funny. It's so funny.
It is. It's like a double plod with those guys out there, not a double drag.
A quick takeaway: Serge is funny.
Yeah. There's going to be some hilarity with Serge Ibaka. But how do you feel about the offense? Because I think this is something where even if it is more of just a non-Giannis minutes thing, it's going to really help the non-Giannis offense. It's like a pretty simple thing that we've and others, especially I know Nikias and Steve on the dunker spot, always call for more seasoning from the Bucks. Early indications are we might get a little bit more. This could be a big deal for the half-court offense.
It could. Like you see at some points, like we've seen the Bucks offense falter time and time again, but it's kind of expected because they're a defense first team. Their goal is to try to just outwork you, just overwhelm you.
Which I think quickly, it all comes from Giannis. I think they have to be.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's a choice. I think that's Giannis. That's who he is. That's how a Giannis team should play. Like he's a great offensive player, but I think he's built to win games that way. And the team is built like that around him, which is smart.
Yeah. It melds perfectly. PJ, please come back. He was so perfect.
Get bought out first and then come back.
Yeah, get bought out, please. Or unless they're willing to pay a lot of money.
We have an ownership thing we can get to a little later, but
that might have to be its own thing.
Yeah, it might. Offense.
Yes, offense. Thank you. It's something where if you get a little more creative, you can sort of you get to see more featured plays for guys like Grayson Allen, like Javon Carter, guys who wouldn't normally get super involved in the offense, especially when you have guys who are just pure defense out there. Like you don't want to have Wes Matthews running around on offense because he's got to be saving a lot of his. Do you?
I want it once per game. Once per game when he's going to do a cool
Here's
play.
what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen when Wes Matthews is running around the ball. Like on offense, he's going to run around two screens. He's going to find a guard. He's going to post him up, call for the ball, and post up.
Hell yeah. A little dream shake out there. I trust Wes.
You know what? Sure. Go for it. If we get one of those per game, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you have more creative offense, it allows like more offense first guys to get involved. Even a guy like Serge Ibaka, who's honestly shown more offensively than defensively for the Bucks in this preseason. I've liked him more on offense than defense.
If he could hold the basketball, I would agree. I'm not sure because he can't really. Maintaining possession is a lot.
I'm telling you, man, stop the skincare routine on your hands. Keep it for your face. Your face looks great, but you're moisturizing too much.
He's got to do the DeMar DeRozan and dip those suckers in paraffin wax.
Does he actually do that?
That was a big. It was a big like 2K interview thing with him. I heard him say it like 100 times on 2K18 or something. Okay. That, to get better touch on the ball pregame, he would dip. I don't understand how that works. Does he wipe it off, or does he have like wax hands? That can't be the case. But yeah,
is that even legal?
Yeah, it's like the spider tack thing of basketball. They're gonna start checking DeMar's hands at quarter breaks.
Instead of eargate, it's handgate.
Yeah. I don't know.
You saw eargate, right?
Was it some Mets thing?
No, it was Blake Snell on the Padres. He had some like red stuff.
Yeah. Mets Padres, right? Yeah. R.I.P. the Mets. Funny. I had adopted them as my team.
Why?
I don't know. Well, one of my buddies is a Mets fan, so
okay, that's understandable.
Yeah.
Is your buddy Donovan Mitchell?
No.
You could have said yes.
My buddy plays defense.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. I think Donovan Mitchell will.
I feel the need to take some. Yeah, he's never played with a good defensive player before, so finally, I feel the need to take some shots at the Cavs. I just feel like people are raising a little too fast.
Yeah, especially you and your very familiar relationship with the chase down. You have to take shots at the
Cavs. That's true. We're in a fantasy league, and Justin hit me with something about Bucks don't spend or whatever, and I was like. Yeah, you guys are going to. Okay. I was like, you guys are going to be contenders if there's a bubble for this playoffs. That's for sure.
Oof.
Yeah.
Ooh, fair enough. But yeah, offense. Getting back to this.
Yeah. The Bucks offense, fun, good stuff.
It's good. Yeah.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, of course. Get more good offensive players involved in the offense. It's usually a good result.
And make it easier for everyone. There's no law that says it has to be hard for Chris, Drew, and Giannis. Like this is like the new thing in football. I feel like the move is like. Make it easy for your great players. Like run a system that makes it easy for the Patrick Mahomes.
When you have only 1 or 2 yards to go, maybe run the ball instead of trying to throw it. Russell Wilson, Matt LaFleur, and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I was gonna say that hit closer to home too. Okay, what's next for you? Yeah, dude. We've done enough other stuff. Bucks preseason.
What's another one? Oh, Lindell should have the 2-way, not AJ Green.
I had this too. I had exactly Lindell over AJ Green as a thing.
I'm sorry, AJ, but you're not doing anything out there.
Lindell started slow. The last game though was like really he was showing out.
Also had a comeback effort.
Yeah. He's better.
We've seen so much more from Lindell. He's more familiar with the organization. He's shown more. He can do more on the ball. He can do more off the ball. He can do more defensively. Just Lindell all the way.
I don't know if he actually can do more off the ball, and I feel like that may be the reason AJ Green is still in there.
AJ Green does one thing off the ball.
I know.
It's the only thing he does.
It's an important thing off the ball. He stands there,
and he shoots the ball.
I know.
Lindell can shoot the ball.
Yeah. I feel like he's not a great off-ball mover yet. That may be one thing that Lindell really has to work on.
That's fair, but none of the Bucks were. Maybe that was just a product of the Bucks offensive system.
Yeah. I do think he is a pretty perfect, if you need an emergency Javon or Drew, like just a point guard to slide up in case of emergency. I do think that's a pretty perfect role for him. Obviously, you have George Hill to do that a little bit as well, right? But if you are going to look at it and say, we like George off ball, then I think Lindell on the 2-way to be your just like we need a guy to come in and guard ones and move the ball around. Like that's a pretty good break glass in case of emergency option. I agree though. He's just been better. And at a certain point, like, yes, you're short on wings to start the year with Chris out and Ingles out for quite a while. But I just don't see the scenario where AJ Green is really the answer there. There's just so many guys who are still going to slot in ahead of him, including fellow 2-way Mamu, who I'd rather play Mamu at the 3 than AJ Green. I think I'd rather play Mamu at the 2 than AJ Green at this point. Sorry to rag on you, AJ Green. I hope, either way, he's going to play a ton with the Herd, whether he's the 2-way or not. But I hope he can really show something there because the Bucks glimpses, like, he's hit a couple threes. I don't think he's really had a game where he's gotten hot, though. And you
No.
almost need that if that's like
I think
if that's
the
your
only thing he
whole
did-
thing.
Yeah. It was summer league when he got hot.
Yeah, which is not real basketball. He's one
No,
for five from three and the field in the first game.
Yeah, I saw you were interacting with this tweet that I kind of thought of. It was from Frank Van. Shout out Frank Van.
Oh yeah.
It was if I have the choice between watching MarJon Beauchamp and AJ Green or whoever, I'd rather have a one-handed Chris Middleton and a wheelchair and Joe
Yeah,
Ingles.
yeah. And I tried to stick up for Mamu. Frank wasn't having it, but I lied. AJ Green was 3 for 6 in the late game of the third Abu Dhabi game, but just didn't feel like it. He just hasn't really, since preseason has started, just hasn't really impressed. You know, they have until the last. I mean, they have probably a while. There's not much of a time limit on this stuff like this, but I do think Lindell deserves the two-way more and really has continued to impress in most of his role.
Or do we think that if he doesn't get the Bucks two-way, he could get another team's two-way? I'm sure he could.
Yeah, that's the issue.
He could make like the Thunder. No, maybe not.
No, they have too many players. Yeah.
The Jazz.
I think most rosters are pretty. A lot of the bad teams have too many guys, and they're having to like trade and get rid of them or cut them.
He can definitely get a two-way.
I think a two-way though. Yeah, a two-way is totally possible. That Lindell could get snagged, and that could kind of burn you later if he ends up being a solid rotation piece, especially if he goes to Miami or something.
Yeah, keep the guys that are good. Like I get the drawbacks. Like what? He's a little undersized. He's 6'1", like 180, I believe.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah,
a little undersized, but he can just do so much more. Like what's the upside? What's the ultimate player that AJ Green could become?
Duncan Robinson. Duncan Robinson. Yeah, Korver. Whatever. Same difference.
Yeah, just two players that are never going to help you in a postseason setting.
Oh. I think they could a little bit in the right situation.
Duncan Robinson was in the perfect situation and got benched.
Decrepit Kyle Lowry at point guard is the perfect situation for anyone.
Okay, what we've seen Kyle Korver on this Bucks team.
But he was 3,900 years old. Okay, they can help you. They can't close games. Bryn Forbes helped win the Bucks, helped sweep the Bucks a playoff series.
That's true.
There's limited utility. I'll let you say that. There's limited utility.
Can we get Bryn Forbes back? I know he's in Minnesota.
He's actually. I think he's going to play there.
Yeah, you probably should. Minnesota's going to be interesting this year.
They have a deep rotation, like their team. Wouldn't call him a contender though. People disagree. I call him a sneaky contender.
I call them a team that could potentially go into contention. They're not right now, but I like sneaky contenders. We're thinking the same way.
Yeah. I put the Lakers there too, believe it or not. Not as currently constructed. Same. Not as currently constructed though.
Ooh.
I think they're a trade.
I think you can be a sneaky contender. They're below the Wolves, but they can be a contender just because of LeBron and AD.
Yeah. Yeah, if we get the fabled healthy LeBron, healthy AD. But I still think they need it. Even with that, I think they need a trade to get out of the West because their roster right now is buns.
For sure.
Okay. My next.
Did you see the fake trade? Sorry.
No.
It was Draymond to the Lakers.
Oh God.
Jay
Crowder, Russ.
No, Russ to Indy, and then Miles Turner to the Warriors.
I don't know if the Warriors really care about Miles Turner.
I think Miles. Yeah, I mean, Kevon Looney does everything they need.
And they're high on Big Jim Wiseman.
Big Jim.
They love him. Every
There's only one Big Jim tie.
That's true. Every quote is he's the next Hakeem or whatever the hell they're talking about over there.
Yeah. Okay, but go on. What's the next thing?
Mamu versus Nwora, the sneaky position battle we talked about. I will say I don't think either has knocked my socks off, but I would certainly give the edge to Mamu in that position battle. I know I was higher on, Nwora's contract than you, and I think anyone at GSPN was initially. I'm starting to think it's a little confusing, and I mean, people around the league still seem to be like really high on him as a prospect. Maybe it is just a trade thing, but he just has not impressed much at all. I mean, I know we gave him the upstock game one because he shot a lot and scored a lot. I don't think he's really even been that good since. He's kind of lost rotational spot since as other guys have played more. Mamu also, I think the most interesting takeaway. I mean, we know about the getting to the rim. That's been on display all preseason. The shooting has not really been there for him, which is weird. In the 3 games, he has had 4 assists, 2 assists, and 3 assists in 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and 18 minutes. So you're talking about a guy who, as well as getting to the rim and spacing the floor, although he hasn't hit shots, has really been like a deep bench offensive hub, which is a fun skill set to be able to bring in with a guy coming in deep off the bench. I just think, I just want to see more. I just think there's more there, and there's more of a complete offensive player there, even if the defense is, you worry about it a little bit. I think the draft analysis has kind of held, right? A super weird player, a very weird player. I also think we were wrong, though, that he's way better than we expected, and I think he can be an NBA player, even if he's like a 10th, 11th guy still right now. But I'd like to see him on an NBA contract somehow, some way by end of year. I think to me, he's shown more than Nwora and deserves that true NBA spot at this point. And I want to see him play with the real players a bit in the regular season.
For sure. I agree. I think the way the Bucks should have handled this is they should have converted Mamu and then signed Nwora to a two-way.
That's probably a tough sell for Nwora, considering he got 2 years, $6 million at the end of the day.
That's true. I mean, that's true. It would have been a tough sell considering he had the qualifying offer sitting there.
Yeah. You can't really do it.
Unless you just don't offer the
you could have just not in the beginning, and then AJ Green, Lindell on the two ways, Mamu on a guaranteed roster spot. I probably feel a little bit better about that.
No AJ Green. Like, just have Nwora on the two way.
Oh, I assume he's not taking it. I think he gets better than that. So there's teams that are high on him. I'd still
That's
believe
fair.
that.
You get to keep the asset here. Whatever. Yeah. It's done.
We'll see. If they turn it into a bad first or something, I'll be stunned. But the Nwora
turn it into a first-round pick, that team falters, and you get Wemby.
if someone even possible to slide into the lotto sends an unprotected first for Jordan Nwora, that would be the biggest NBA malpractice I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, how about this? Top one protected, you get Scoot.
I could live with that. It would still be the biggest NBA malpractice I've ever seen in my life.
Or even top three, you get one of the Thompson twins.
True.
Like, let's say Minnesota, for example, wants Jordan Nwora because they think they're a contender. Boom. Obviously, knock on wood. Hopefully it doesn't happen. You get some injuries. Someone gets upset.
No, just here's all that needs to happen. Somebody tells Karl Towns to treat every game like a playoff game, and they go 10-72 because he scores 8 points a game.
But you still got Ant and Gobert.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
No, they wouldn't go 10-72.
I'm just saying it could happen.
It probably won't happen. Talk about Nwora versus Mamu. Nwora versus Mamu.
I'm getting way off topic.
Yeah, you are.
This is what happens when it's early and I'm still an ADD brain.
I get that. Funky position battle. I want to hear your thoughts on what you've seen from these two players.
I've seen nothing from Jordan Nwora that's made me think anything different from him.
Are you slanted against him because he got a shot blocked by Trae Young?
It was not him. I was mistaken.
Was it? It was MarJon. Oh, it was Grayson?
No, Grayson.
Oh.
Yeah. I had to delete a tweet in shame.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I thought it was Grayson too. Then I saw your tweet and I was like, oh, it would make sense if it was Nwora because he has that funky, pretty low shot release. Yeah,
I think I was looking at something on my laptop at the time and I heard the commentators say it and I think they were wrong.
Yeah.
So whoever was on there was making some mistakes. He was like, Jordan Nwora, I mean MarJon Beauchamp. I mean, he was prime SVG. Or Marv Albert, excuse me.
Oh, God.
Here's Russell Westbrook from half court. He's dunking the ball. But Jordan Nwora and Mamu, I agree with you. I think Mamu is probably the better option at this position. I haven't seen enough development from Jordan Nwora in terms of his awareness. Like, again, it's early, it's preseason. You still have a bunch of time to figure this out. But he's had time to figure this out. He's had time to work on these sort of areas that he was faltering in. Like I've seen too many times this preseason where he's tried to drive to the rim just to be more aggressive and stuff, and it just gets taken from him.
His drives to the rim it looks like a running back carrying the rock. I don't understand. Yes. I don't understand how it's not a travel every time, and he just it just doesn't seem like we talked about how Grayson is using his body, using his length, and like kind of getting around guys. It's like. It looks like Nwora is just hitting halfback dive every time. He just goes straight toward the rim from wherever he is, and he just ends up getting stripped or like losing the ball a lot of the time. It's very weird the way he drives. And he's got a good floater, but like when he tries to get to the rim, it's just very bizarre. Unless there is a wide open path, which is great to do, but like when there's a contested drive, I'm just go like, what is going on here?
Maybe he's the one that actually went to the Giannis school of finishing, but he's not Giannis.
He's like, I got this. I've seen Giannis do this 100 times.
I could do it too. But no, nothing's impressed me from Nwora. I mean, again, nothing's super like really impressed me from Mamu in these couple games either. But we have a larger sample with Mamu doing good things than we do with Nwora doing good things at this point.
And I do think there's been more plays from, if we look at all of what both of them have done, where I've gone, oh, that was impressive, Mamu. Like even if he has not had an overall excellent game, it wouldn't surprise me if we got one in these next two. He'll probably play a lot over the course of those two games. But I just think overall, I've seen more plays that impress me from him. I've liked the assists he's put up, even if the shots aren't falling. So I think, it would be he could play mostly the same and have 2 threes go in instead of 0 and pretty easily walk out of a game with like 15 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and like have a really positive impact. And I just think his getting to the rim ability wows me on a pretty regular basis. I still believe in the shot, even though he's been cold in preseason, and the passing is better. So I really want to watch him more carefully on defense. So much of the games have just been like kind of just weird, and you could barely see what was happening in the Abu Dhabi games, like 2K Retrovision. I'm excited to get more.
Come on, if you guys have so much money over there, get some decent cameras,
right? Like get some fiber optic cables or something. It was very bizarre, but yeah, I agree with you. Not decisive for Mamu, more of just like, were the opportunities there again? I just don't know if we're gonna see him capitalize, and I don't know.
I think it's fair. We should also be fair and say we're a little bit biased in our opinions of Nwora in terms of we've seen this for years now.
But I was pretty high coming in. Remember,
no,
I watched game 1 and I was like, man, I think for kind of good things. I don't know. And then the next 2 games I've been like, oh, okay.
No, in terms of what he has shown already, we're out on that. I'm saying, like, you were mentioning earlier, like there's high praise about him throughout the entire league.
Yeah,
and that's because he does have like solid NBA skills. He can still score the ball. Yeah. He can still shoot the ball. He can still do those things. We're just bored of that at this point. Like we've seen enough of that. When I feel like we should be taking that more into consideration when we don't, because we've seen the other stuff with Jordan Nwora. Just to be fair, that's all.
I mean, no, I get that. I don't know if we're not taking it into consideration, though.
No, I mean, we are. We just want to see more. But I feel like other people around the league are like, oh, he has that. Like Raptors fans would be going crazy if Danilo Banton could do this, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Like, that's not even a shot at Raptors fans or Banton. I'm saying if Banton could do what Nwora does, he'd be even better of a prospect.
Yeah, but then if you took away everything else, he probably wouldn't be. That's the issue. That's the whole thing. Is like he just hasn't been able to fit it into a team construct that's very helpful to this point.
Yes, for sure. Is it my turn?
Yep. What's next on your list?
Let's see.
I've got one more that I think is worthy of extended discussion. I think the rest are going to be kind of rapid fire from my end. So I'm eager to see what you've got on.
I might be all out of extended discussion, but just like Bobby's been all right.
Oh my God, what a terrible, the biggest Bucks storylines. Bobby's been all right. I had written down Point Bobby. He's been moving with fast breaks a lot, which I find interesting.
That's something. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's something I don't like.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it if he would pass. Like, there's value. This was a whole Russ thing, right? Like, oh, it's value. It gets the team moving so much faster if the guy who gets the rebounds pushes the ball up the court. You don't have to look around and find the point guard or whatever. The problem is he dribbles it up and then just like posts up somebody, and it's like, okay, that's kind of a waste of semi-transition.
Yeah, so I'm fine with that if he gets a mismatch, because a lot of the times the guy running back on defense is a smaller opponent. Fair point. Get Bobby Portis in a cross match, you're going to want to exploit that mismatch right away. I think Bobby does a good job of that and recognizing that in transition. The problem is when that's not there and he still tries.
Yeah.
Agreed. And he's just, you get tunnel vision. You're not really seeing him pass the ball that well. Also, he doesn't have the tightest dribble. I've
No.
ever seen in my entire life. That's just not his game. I love Bobby, but that's just not his game. He has to be set up. He's not going to be setting up himself. So
Point Bobby.
if
I don't know, man.
but you can't get that tunnel vision, and you can't just be dribbling for extended periods of time, especially if you're going against like guys who love to poke the ball loose. Like imagine
Yeah.
him doing that against Drew Holiday. What would Drew do if he sees Bobby bring the ball up in transition? It'd be like that clip of Kawhi taking it away from was it Rudy Gay? Who was no Ben McLemore. He
Yeah.
took it from him like 3 straight possessions.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why? This is bullying.
Yeah, you can't keep doing it at a certain point. Yeah, I agree. It's been all right. I think overall though, yeah, he's been fine. I'd like to see the Point Bobby stuff refined. I also think it's easier to do that when 2 out of the 3 games is no Giannis. It'll be a different set of priorities, I think, for everyone when Giannis is playing more.
For sure. What's the one thing you had left that was extended discussion?
Got to talk about MarJon Beauchamp, large Marge. My note is MarJon is a rookie, all right. The flashes,
Really?
Let me go first, and then I'll let you go. I'll let your propaganda kick in. The flashes have been there. Still some plays we go, oh man, that's really exciting. The defense has been very good, very solid. Some plus plays, like a really good block and steal, I think, over the course of the games. He just doesn't know what to do on offense. He just hasn't figured it out yet, and maybe he'll have some more time to play with the Bucks early season with Chris and Joe Ingles out. I do think this is a player who might benefit from being off ball with the herd and being able to play 30 minutes a night and having like the Lindells and now potentially Jordan Bones of the world setting him up and just getting him more comfortable with catch and shoot threes, more comfortable moving off ball. Like, what's he made? Like 1 shot, I think, over the 3 games? No, I'm sorry. He made 3 shots. He made 2 in the second game, but the transition dunk was his first. Yeah, it's 1 in the first, 2 in the second, none in the third.
Oh, did he not make any in the third?
No, he only took 2. He was 0 for 2 from 3. He made 2 free throws though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go on a propaganda here. I'm gonna agree with you. He does look like a rookie, and this is something that you have to expect. When I said I was high on Beauchamp, I didn't want to say people should be expecting him to be NBA ready game 1. This is a long-term play. He is a rookie. This is his first time playing NBA basketball. He did not even play Division I college basketball. Yeah. He was at a community college and then played with the Ignite. And this is that was when the Ignite were just an exhibition team, which is only changing this year.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Well, that's literally what they were, is an exhibition team.
I mean, Are they able to qualify for playoffs now? Is that what you're saying?
Now they are, yeah.
Oh,
now they play a full regular season.
No, I mean they went on a little tour. You're right. Okay, whatever. Go on.
But what I'm trying to say is that you're gonna see these growing pains. Like obviously, the one thing that we saw with Beauchamp, even during pre-draft process, is offense is not his strong suit. We were championing his defense as something that could get him into the game right away, because that's something that Bud really values, that's something this team really values, and that's something that you're not going to get abused on if you're actually in an NBA setting. However, he's had a lot of miscues when he has the ball. He's had some flashes. You're right. He's like taken a few good step backs in the corner where it's like, oh my God, he has that in his arsenal. But he also has possessions where he travels 2 straight times whenever he gets the ball. You're going to see these growing pains. You have to experience the game. You have to learn the game in order to be able to do things like that. Like he was the 24th overall pick for a reason. He's not Scoot Henderson or the Thompson twins of next draft. I'm not even counting Wemby.
Yeah, nobody's Wemby, man.
No, it's like you have to recognize what you have here, and what you have is a very, very raw prospect. Yeah. On both sides, but defensively he's more ready than he is offensively. And that's really, really shown. Does he have the opportunity to grow? Yes. Does he have the skills that could make him a plus offensive player and defensive player? Absolutely. Does he have that right now? Absolutely not.
No, it's going to be great for him to get the vitamins from Bud and the coaching staff and really come up the right way. I think our takes earlier about it'd be fun to see him start are just ludicrous now. It's just not
I still believe it. I still think that's true because the same concepts apply. You can be a solid, he can be a good defensive player out there. but also you need those reps. That's the same thing we talked about. We didn't expect him to be a plus offensive player. Let's not go back on that.
No, yeah, but I think I didn't expect him to be a decisive minus offensive player, and that's what he had. I don't think it would be good for him. Honestly, I don't think he should start games.
I think it would be good for him if he has like sort of mandates about what he should be doing out there. Like if I think currently in the preseason, the Bucks are basically going out there and telling him, like, especially during the end of games, hey, go out there and see what you can do. Because the Bucks are still trying to develop, like, they're still trying to get information about what he can do. And the best way to do that is like preseason games, because the games don't matter. But if you go out in a regular season game, be like, hey, you can go out there, you can be a catch and shoot guy. If you see a lane, go attack. Do things like that. You don't have to be like a guy when he catches the ball, especially when he plays with more offensive ready players. Like we saw him in these games. He's not out there playing with Giannis or Drew most of the time. He's out there playing with the bench guys. Like he's out there playing with your Mamus, your Lindells. Like when he catches the ball, there's more of an expectation of him to do something in that situation rather than just being able to pass it off to the next guy. Like if he catches the ball, it's like, oh God, I don't, like no one else here has leverage. Maybe I can create some leverage. When you're out there in a normal game, you have other guys who can create leverage. You don't have to be the guy in those situations. I still think it would be beneficial for him to get a lot more experience and playing time.
Yeah, I don't disagree, but I think starting is too much.
You could start him.
No,
I think you could.
I think that is throwing a guy into the fire too much based on the way he's looked in preseason, what his probable comfort level is. I'm fine with him playing.
Let's see what these next two games look like.
Yeah, he's probably going to start one of those two because again, we imagine the back-to-back, which is so stupid, by the way, but means almost certainly one of these games we're not going to see the Giannis's, Brook Lopez, Drew Holidays of the Bucks. So I think we probably will see MarJon starting this week just in a preseason game. But yeah, that's fair. Okay, rapid fire time. We covered a lot of it already.
We did.
I think the most important one I have left. I think we kind of covered Serge with he's hilarious. I just put highs and lows. There's some plays where like, oh, it's really good stuff, Serge. There's some plays where I'm like, the hell are you doing? It's hilarious. Brook looks a little old.
He does.
Reminds me, was it the 1920 regular season? Or was it it was the championship, right? 2021? Or we thought he looked ancient?
Yeah. Yeah, you were taking the papers. You were taking the pamphlets.
The reading materials. The Brook Lopez's Wash reading materials. I'm not taking them. I don't care. It's preseason. I've chosen to not care. I agree with people. He has looked slow. It's 82 game plus 5 preseason game slog. He's not going to play a ton as long as he's healthy. And I don't think he's looked like totally stiff. I just think he's looked a little slow. We've seen this before. I'm not going to overreact yet.
No, there's no reason to overreact. Like, again, we said this all pod. It's preseason basketball.
Yeah.
Like, this is a guy who's trying, like, he recognizes his age. He recognizes he needs to save himself, not go super hard. He's not going to go game 6 of the finals where he's just dunking over DeAndre Ayton on these guys.
Speaking of, we forgot to talk about this in the Javon George Hill part. George Hill's dunk?
Yeah.
What the hell was that?
I know.
It didn't even count.
I mentioned that there's a foul call and he dunked the ball.
Oh, I totally missed you. I don't know what universe I was off in. Maybe I was looking at the numbers or something. I don't know. But it was a crazy dunk.
I know. It was ridiculous.
Oh
like, God. George Hill, like, he has that burst and, like...
It's good to see.
Like, like, we saw it at points last year, too, where it's, like, he's not doing it all the time. But if he has, like, short spurts, he can go out there. He can yam it on guys. Like, he still has that athleticism. It's just not as constant.
I will say... him as like a 2 kind of player at the 2 could be really helpful, especially early in the year with Ingles out, Chris out for a bit, especially if, you know, if you're not comfortable playing Beauchamp a ton, that's a nice option to have at the smaller wing position. Anyway.
For sure.
Anything else on Brook, or do you have? I have one more very quick hitter.
No, go for it.
Haven't loved Marquise Bolden's defense. There was some plays around the rim where I'm just like, it just looks like he has no idea how to properly contest.
He's going to be great in the G League.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like all the shooting, and maybe they're hoping, you know, Brook can teach guys a bit of how to defend inside. I mean, Brook wasn't known as a defender, and Serge, but so far it's just been like, just doesn't look like he has a great feel for how to defend at the rim, which obviously is really important for Bucks bigs. That's going to be something I'm going to watch a lot this season and hopefully be able to work with like Vin Baker as coach and Brook and Serge in the times the Bucks guys get to practice with the herd. Hopefully that's helpful to him. But The shooting touch is nice to see. The interior defense has not been.
For sure. Do we have any other storylines we need to cover?
I think that's it. I know you have something you wanna launch at me. Oh, the ownership thing. Bill Simmons says that the Edens or the Lasry stake may be on the market. I would just prefer if there weren't any changes because we've really liked the way ownership has operated.
Or it's like taken care of internally, like Edens buys them out or something.
Yeah, I would just rather it stay as is, but
I mean, like Edens is currently the governor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I prefer things stay as is.
I just hope if he does sell his stake that it's like just the status quo is maintained. That's whether it's Edens buying it out or someone else. That's all that really, or one of the other, Dine-In or Fascitelli.
I wouldn't even say that. I would say because that would disrupt the status quo because one of those two would enter the governorship.
Well, it could be. Who knows? It could be like some sort of a split. Who knows how they're going to do it?
No, because currently the way it's set up is that Edens and Lasry switch off every 5 years.
Yeah.
If you enter someone else into that could switch things.
But Edens could buy enough of it to where it's just him and the other two guys are just bigger minority owners. Who knows? I don't know how this stuff works.
My prediction, this is not sourced or anything.
Yeah.
Is that Lasry is set to take over the governorship in about 2 years, I believe.
Might be even less. I don't remember.
I think it's the season after.
No, I think you're right. I think it's 24. Yeah.
It gets taken care of before then.
I mean, yeah, that would make sense. Or it doesn't. I mean, it was a rumor, but I will say I'm sure people who are going to Bill Simmons, who listens to Bill Simmons. On Hoop, that's fine. He has sources. I'll never forget. He was like a year early to LA Bron. Like he does hear stuff. People tell Bill things. So
very, very connected.
I am 100% confirmed that at least there is like exploratory talks. Not confirming reporting, but I 100% believe that. I just that's exactly the kind of thing Bill would know about and just randomly drop into a low post, which is what happened.
Yep. Okay. But now the next thing. This is something that I want to try out. I gave you zero preparation for what this is, what this concept is. It could flop, but I just wanted to try it out. I was watching this full credit to this YouTube channel, Mr. Sunday Movies, that I was watching. They have these video concepts where they have to guess the movie, given a category, by a Savage review.
This is fun. So, okay.
I was thinking, how could I make this into like a basketball thing?
Oh my God.
So I was thinking, given the season, can you guess the player from the stat line?
Oh, I love this. Okay.
So
yeah, I'm all in.
Okay, I only have a couple here because I wanted to test out this concept.
Yeah.
So we're going to start off easy.
Mm-hmm.
You have the 21-22 season.
Okay.
You have a guy who had 39 points, 7 assists, 7 rebounds, 13 of 19 from the field.
Oh, it's a game. It's a single game. I'm sorry. Can you say it again? Game. I was thinking season. I was like, nobody averaged 39 a game.
No. 21-22 season. He scored 39 points. He had 7 rebounds, 7 assists. He was 13 of 19 from the field. 4 from 3.
Chris?
No.
Is it a buck or no?
Yeah, it's a buck.
Oh, is it Giannis?
Yeah.
I forgot Giannis was 4. He's 4 from 3 in a game?
Yes. March 8th, 22. I think it was the Thunder.
Oh, the Thunder.
Yeah, wow. That was the easy one.
Oh, apparently not. I was like Giannis. 4 for 4 from 3. Maybe that is. Chris would probably have taken more. Yeah, he would have needed more. That's a good call.
I think now I'm looking at these. I think I made these a little too difficult.
Okay, well, we'll see.
So the 1920 season, which is the bubble season.
Yeah.
Player had 11 points, 0 assists, 5 rebounds. He's 4 of 6 from the field, including 1 of 3 from 3.
That's Brooke.
It is not.
Oh, well, how many rebounds?
5.
Is that Pat?
No, it is a big though.
Oh, it's Robin?
No.
What other bigs were that year? It's not Dragan Bender, is it?
No, it is not. But you're getting into that realm of player.
Oh my God, who are you giving me here? They didn't have Nico anymore.
No.
My God, who am I forgetting that was a big on the
He's
2019-20?
he wasn't big per se, but he played as a big.
I might not know. Give me one more second, because this
Are
is
you
not.
rooting for his success, Ty?
Oh my! It's TJ Wilson. I would not have thought of him as a big. I'm calling chicanery,
Okay.
but okay. Yeah, that's a hard one. There's a lot of players who could put up that stat line. The no
Okay,
assist should have given it away though.
Yeah. 15-16 season.
Ooh, it's
So
JOB.
that is, it's not JOB.
Okay.
That would have been 2 on the nose.
That's true.
Shout out JOB, friend of the pod.
Yeah.
You got 15 points. You got 9 assists, 2 rebounds, 6 of 14 from the field, 3 of 8 from 3. I will say this is probably. Oh, go for it.
That's a classic Eric Bledsoe game.
No. I was saying this is this guy's best game as a Milwaukee Buck by far.
Can you give me the stat line one more time?
15 points, 9 assists, 2 rebounds. He's 6 of 14 from the field, including 3 of 8 from 3.
9 assists on the 15-16.
So
Milwaukee
that gives you the hint
Bucks.
that they're a guard.
Yeah. Was it? No. Juice had better games, right?
Yeah, that was not juice.
Yeah. I don't think it was. No, Bayless was gone, I think, by then.
Bayless was gone. I think he was on the Sixers at that point.
So it was a guard. It was his best game.
The 15-16 season, which is the season they faltered after making the playoffs in the first year.
They got rid of the vets, so no Zaza, no Jared Dudley.
So what did they have to do when they got rid of all the vets?
They had
you need some on the team.
Sign them?
No? What's another
trade?
One? Yeah, you have to trade for a vet.
Oh, it's Grievous Vasquez.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that does make sense. 9 assists for Grievous. Okay, General Grievous.
Okay,
Adam's worst jersey.
that was his best game as a Buck.
Oh yeah, I mean 9 assists is not bad, but the shooting was not great. He was broken.
Yeah. It was a November game. Like these games are early.
Imagine our takes watching that game at the time. Like, oh yeah, here we go. Now we're ready.
Grievous Vasquez. Okay, this is my last one.
Right.
14-15 season. He had 13 points, 0 assists, 2 rebounds. He's 5 of 5 from the field, 0 of 0 for 3. You're not going to get this. I made these too difficult.
It's not Jeff Adrian, is it?
No.
Damian Inglis?
No, it was not. Jeff Adrian wasn't on the 14-15 team.
Oh, I'm thinking of a year earlier. I'm thinking of 13-14 was the awful team. 14-15 was a good team.
First Jason Kidd team.
And
Kidd could never quit this guy.
Shabazz?
No. Shabazz was the next year, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right. Can you read the stat line one more time? 13
points, 0 assists, 2 rebounds. He's 5 of 5 from the field, 0 of 0 from 3. Ooh. Don't let the 0 assists fool you into position.
It's not Knight. No, it can't be.
No,
that's not a.
This is again probably this guy's best game as a Buck.
I'm trying to think of all the random players that Jason. No. It's not. Is it Kilpatrick?
No, it's not Sean Kilpatrick.
Is it No, it's Liggins. DeAndre Liggins.
No.
Oh come on! How many weird players has Jason Kidd loved?
Liggins was the next year, I believe, or the year after. He's on the Nets before the Bucks. That's why Jason Kidd loves him.
Oh my God. I don't remember. What's his name?
Jorge Gutierrez.
Oh, I loved Jorge Gutierrez too. Oh, I'm sad I didn't get. I would have. Yeah. Oh my God, that's a hard game, dude.
It is. If we do this again, we need to make this.
I think. I'm gonna bring some really. I'm like 2 points. No, it was fun. It was fun to think about, but definitely a challenge. I feel like my knowledge of those teams is not as good as I would have thought.
No, I think I made it a little too difficult.
That's a fun one, though.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see how the listeners feel about it. How do you feel about it, Ty? Should we make this like a week-to-week thing? Like
I think maybe. I think what we have to do is make it more like Pirtle and maybe add a little bit of extra
That's true.
maybe give like an idea of like either the position or their height or something or their college, whatever. College is too easy. College is too easy, but position
probably
maybe.
Position.
Which you were giving me a lot of hints for sure, but
yeah, and I should probably pick more average games for the player.
No, I don't know if that. I think it's fine if it's a weird game. I think that adds to the fun. I think a weird, not weird in terms of like obviously if it's like they scored 0 points net or rebound, that's not helpful. But it could be no, and 5 fouls. Yeah, it's definitely Thanasis. But I think like the position and like one of their better Bucks games that could be fun.
Okay, just gotta try something.
Yeah, I like it. No, we're refining the idea. We'll do it.
Yeah, it's preseason for us too.
Yeah. Speaking of, we have a lot to do before the start of the regular season. So we are, I guess we'll soft announce this now. There's going to be a sick collab preview pod with the Win in 6 fellas before the year. Bucks and NBA preview. So watch out for that coming soonish. And we've got to do our IPO pod. We'll have to figure out the timing on that. This year, we were going to do meaningless preseason stocks. We stopped doing it. We forgot. But we're going to do Bucks stock market again this regular season. But I know people have said, come on, how is Chris Middleton at 2 and Javon Carter's at 4? It makes no sense or whatever. Fair. We're going to do an IPO just based on where we estimate players coming into the season. We'll figure out a scientific way to do this. We'll walk through it on probably a shorter podcast before the year tips off. And then, Giannis starts at whatever, 34, his number. And then it's harder for him to go up or down from there. Maybe easier to go down, but harder for him to go up every game because he's already so high. So hopefully a more accurate representation of value on the Bucks stock market this season.
For sure. We got to do that. And there's just lots of stuff happening all over GSPN. We got Talk of the Tundra. You and Adam recap the game, the unfortunate London game.
Yeah.
So make sure you check that out. Cruising for a Bruising. They're going to be like
postmortem pod middle of this week. Waiting for some more quotes because apparently Andrew wants to read the quotes to Adam and just get his unfiltered reaction, which does sound like amazing.
It's going to be very entertaining.
Yeah.
Make time for this is always popping. They got an endorsement from the director.
That's true.
The movie they just talked about. But yeah, you can check all of that out. Get all the information at gspn.info. Get all things Gyro Step Podcast Network. And also, make sure you're subscribed wherever you're listening to this. I didn't say this up top. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, your podcast platform of choice. Make sure you leave a 5-star rating and review on Apple, and you can leave 5 stars on Spotify. If you want to just leave your own review, make your own review, get into our Discord. We have a way to do that for you as well in our Discord entry form, which again is on gspn.info. It's a great community. We talk all things Bucks, Brewers, Packers, fantasy sports, whatever. Just everything.
Food, a lot of food talk, which has been great.
Everything you could ever want is in the GSPN Discord. You won't believe me until you actually see it for yourself, so go do it.
Exactly. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for listening. Pod Random, and we will talk to you next time.